Okay, are you killing it? This is the thing that we must know and decide. Welcome to today's Goal Setting Live, where we are going to explore if you're wanting to kill it, aka knock out your goals, be successful, kind of got to know what that even means to begin with, right? So everybody has a vision. And if we don't have a vision, I'm going to be running a goal setting vision creating session very soon, because the idea there is that if you don't know the direction you're going, how do you even know when you get there? See my point? So that being said, if you don't have a vision and you don't have clarity, it's time to get some. Because if you're going to be working on goals and you're a revenue generating professional, so this could look like all kinds of things, by the way. Maybe you're in sales, maybe you are an SDR, maybe you're an appointment setter, maybe you go live and do live selling. I had a friend this morning who I was on the phone with, coaching him a bit, and he said, "Hey, these are your people." And I thought, you're right. They are revenue generating professionals. So they can absolutely benefit from something like this, where we come together to talk about our goals, the action steps we need to accomplish those goals, and then the habits and systems we need in place to ensure that we actually execute, because everyone is different. Everybody's needs are different. Now, I'm a really, 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 really big fan of Enneagrams as a systematic way to really understand people's motivations and desires. Yes, it speaks to behavior, but primarily it's the underlying motivation and desires that actually impact or move people into behave a certain way. Based on, for example, Enneagram 7s, we love freedom and autonomy, and we're fun. We're the fun-loving, busy, variety-seeking type, distractible and scattered when stressed. So if that sounds like you, you are my people. I understand you very well. Maybe you're super ambitious, you're very driven, but also Myers-Briggs behavioral, ENFP, right? We love spontaneity and we love to just be able to go. And for me, I always look at it like plug into the sky and you just see where the day takes you, right? Well, here's the reality. That's awesome and super fun. And who knows the magic that can happen, because I'm telling you, when you connect and you have an intention, it always comes into fruition. Like, it's amazing. And if you have goals to be driving around the country without any kind of structure or targets to be able, or non-negotiables to know to hit each day, it's very easy to get caught in the moment and to get off track or distracted and not focused. And I say driving around the country because I'm a nomad and that's my reality. But for you, that could look like a lot of different things. That could look like your friends giving you a phone call, and now next thing you know, 2 hours later, you've been chatting. I've done that, right? This could look like your kids coming and needing something, and then even though that is very important, how can you then shift your energy? You can problem solve around that, right? Because we're always wanting to and having to pour and give out, which is good. That's what we as humans do. That's how we connect, is that we are able to give things to other people. But if you have goals and these distractions can look like, now suddenly you're on your social media. Distractions can look like a lot of things. So now you have all these distractions that are pulling you away from the one thing that you were kind of supposed to be doing. But if you have clarity on what you're supposed to be doing, awesome. But if you don't have clarity on what you're supposed to be doing, well, then it's like, oh, right? And then when you've plugged in and you're on this magical adventure, everything feels so good. But are you really moving the needle forward? And this is the question we have to ask ourselves. I know, because I'm speaking from experience. So that is why I have these sessions now, especially in the morning. And I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time with the 12:45, 4:45, and 8 o'clock session that I want to be doing, because I have work that comes in, or clients, and I'm like busy and now suddenly engaged with clients and not actually able to show up. So I'm even rethinking my structure of my lives. Morning works great. There's nothing that gets in the way between me and this camera during those really early hours. So that's something to think about, right? I had a plan and now I'm thinking about adjusting that plan. This can happen for you as well. But when we set intentions and we want to understand, like, are we killing our goals? First, we got to know what our goals are. And something else, and this was just on the call this morning where I was coaching someone, was the tendency, especially for entrepreneurs or revenue generating professionals, people who we're easily excited, we love ideas, we are visionaries. There's so many amazing things that can be done. Like when you look around, I mean, the world is our oyster, the possibilities, that alone, just knowing that is what lights us up, right? Well, the unfortunate part of that is that we like to sample and everything just tastes so good. The reality is that we need to focus, right? I had, when I was a teacher in Qatar, one of my very good friends, I shouldn't call her out, but Eva, she would always say, focus. We did our masters together. Focus. I had to have my friend telling me to focus because I just showed up to class like wanting to chat and connect, right? And she was already working before I ever even literally walked in, and she was already working and like focused. And I just needed to connect. So actually I had to have the very mature adult conversation to be like, hey, listen, I just need 2 minutes when I come to class for us to like, and then I'll focus. And so that applies to all other areas of life, right? If we're doing 10 things, do you think those 10 things are actually executed? No, because we're distracted, we're bouncing, we're going from thing to thing rather than focusing. And so if you have an offer, or if you have a business and you have an offer and you are wanting to offer this and offer this and offer this, and then you have a new idea and you're bouncing here, and now suddenly there's this idea and you're jumping that often, what are the likelihoods that you will actually take that one idea, plant the seed, water the seed, grow the seed, watch the seed start to blossom and bloom, ripen, mature, develop fruit, and then be able to actually harvest and take that fruit and then enjoy the fruit or pack it away for the winter? What are the chances? Very, very small. Very, very small. So think about that. So if you have a new idea all the time, trust me, I'm guilty of this. What are the likelihoods that you're going to be killing it if you keep coming up with new ideas and then you never execute one to the fullest? So whatever life stage or position or whatever your mode, medium, way of making money essentially is, whether it's you own your own business, you're in sales, you're a live seller, whatever it is that you do, how can you take all of your ideas and narrow it down to just one or three, no more than five, right? And by five, I mean, this is every area of life. Warren Buffett has that list down the 25 things you want to do, cross off 20, circle 5. That's it. It's all you can work on at a time. And I challenge you to narrow it down even further. So think about what's on your plate. What can you take off? What distractions are taking up and consuming time? Time being a resource, it's very difficult to get back. So what can you take off your plate to be able to bring it down so that all you're focusing on is essentially one offer, right? With one lead source, which I even still have a couple. So one lead source or a couple lead sources, one offer, and then one way of executing that. How can you do that? What are you doing right now in your life that's too much, right? I also was just on a call with somebody the other day, and already she's in a great position, a great job, wants to start something on the side, but then is now also going to start applying for other jobs while also wanting to do all these things. And I just asked her, I said, hey, what about instead of applying for other jobs, because there's a window there, right? You got to learn the job, you got to get reacclimated. You know, as soon as from start, finish, interview, that's all a distraction. Everything is a distraction, literally. Everything except for the one thing you hope to accomplish is a distraction. So now that's become a distraction. And then to start something on the side, first there's the whole process. If you've ever started or built anything, you know, first you got to learn it. You got to learn it so you can believe that you can even do it. And then once you believe that you can do it, then you start going through taking actions, right? Actually, there's a whole chart, and I should put this up one day, that talks about like the path of an entrepreneur or something. But it's like, first it's, you know, some kind of extreme optimism, like everything is potential. I have been there many times. And then it's like this way at the bottom, like extreme negative, like absolutely not. This is impossible for all these reasons. And then it's the slow trail back up. That's not exactly what it is, but it's a very accurate interpretation of the journey of an entrepreneur or a revenue generating professional, somebody whose means or their ability to, pay their way in life is dependent on their performance. So you think, oh yeah, you're up here, and then reality hits and you're like, oh, this is hard. And then we got to stick to the hard and stay consistent and stay consistent and stay consistent and stay consistent until we've watered and watered and watered and nurtured and nurtured and nurtured and watched the plant grow and grow and grow. And then eventually, right, after a very slow season of almost nothingness. I mean, just think about how long it takes for those roots to grow down beneath the surface to then be able to start to sprout and shoot up. It can take a long time. So one idea, watered, nurtured, it needs sunlight, it needs all the conditions met. Same thing for you and your goal, the one goal. If you have 10 goals, right, you already have a job and you're working on other jobs and you want to start something on the side, but you got to learn all of that's a lot of goals all in one. So take a goal, the action steps you need, unpack it to accomplish that goal, figure out exactly what those small steps are. And then once you've identified what those steps are, then and only then can you start to really water, nurture, and take the right path forward to actually be able to achieve it. The trick there is, what is that thing? Not 10 things. Trust me, I'm so guilty of this. Not 10 things, not all the things, not the oysters, not the smorgasbord, the buffet, right? Where you get to choose a little lobster and a little of this, a little of that. Yeah, it's great, but your plate fills up fast. So if you just went all in on one thing, how much faster or how much more of that one thing could you fit? And then the likelihood of that actually becoming something exponentially greater. I know, because I'm now doing this. No longer jumping, no longer doing all the things. Speaking, training, and I'll be coaching in very much the same capacity, helping people to be able to structure their life and their business using systems and goals, right? Particularly systems, AI tools even, to be able to optimize, energize, right? Become the best version of themselves so that they can actually reach the top of whatever the mountain is. That being said, as you go into today and you think about, okay, what are my tangible goals? What is it that I need to do? Focus on the one thing that is going to drive your needle forward. For me today, it's building out the back end of a new CRM platform that I'm using. It's getting all the materials to the person that he needs in order for us to actually start driving forward. So that's my one thing today. That is all I'm doing. And working with my team, right? So what is your thing? What is your one thing, your most important task? Maybe it's a few. Maybe it's something lumped into reach outs. Where do you reach out? LinkedIn? Where does your ideal client live? LinkedIn? Instagram? What is that method? Are you cold calling? Just pick up the phone, giving some calls out? Because that works too, right? What's your method? 100 reach outs. Statistically, of the 100 people that you reach out to, 5 will book a call and 1 will actually become a client. So what does that offer? What are you looking to do? I'm looking for speaking events, for one-day trainings, one-day workshops for corporations, for companies, with sales generating revenues, with revenue generating teams and professionals. And I'll be putting on my own events with the one-day workshop that I can bring to sales generating professionals so that we can optimize and energize and become more vitalized. I don't know, apparently rhyming today's thing. So that being said, thank you for joining for this session. What I want you to do now is to take out whatever it is. Maybe it's your journal, maybe it's on your something, and just write out your top number one goal and put all your focus into that one thing. And then at the end of the day, I want you to look back and I want you to ask yourself, did that work for me? Because all we're trying to do is develop empowered habits. So a disempowering habit is having 20 things to work on, watering all of them and growing nothing, right? An empowered habit is being focused and narrowing down and being able to water that one thing. And in one day, how far can you get with that one thing? Something to think about. All right. Remember, your life, your journey, your choice. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you imagine. Thoreau. Have a wonderful day, my friends.